Well, hello and welcome back to the Tao Manifesting Tarot. Thank you for joining me again, or maybe this is your first. In either event, thank you very much. Appreciate it very much, much. I have one simple goal in this podcast, and it's not my ego. It is inspiring you. I've done tarot for over 20 years, astrology, numerology over 50 years. In that time, I have learned some things that are significant in this reading. First of all, you're going to get the focus on the idea of tarot. That's what you're here for. But I'm also going to include numerology, astrology, whatever I can to help ignite your imagination. Very important. Tarot, I have discovered after 20 years, is not a predictive tool at all. It doesn't predict a damn thing. Oh yeah, once in a while you get lucky. Once in a while you'll come across something that's usable. But for the most part, I haven't seen myself or others predict anything. And I'm wondering why. Well, I finally understood that tarot is the science of potential. And that's huge. That's really, really big because we are at a point right now, and I may talk about this tomorrow or maybe a day or two down the road, of mind-blowing information about the way the universe works. Time travel. We can do it. In fact, we have done it. It's making the news right now. If you haven't heard, give me a day or two or three and I'll explain it to you as best I understand. Believe me, it's going to be a basic understanding. But we can do that kind of thing. Time travel. Wow. That's potential. That's potential. And so with the tarot readings, I want to ignite your imagination, fire you up so that you create your own kryptonite. We're in a world right now where, as you know, we're confronted with all sorts of things. We're dealing with economic ruin, social ruin. We could blow up the planet. Hell, nature can send us an asteroid or volcanoes or a sun, some sort of a flare, and it could wipe us out. I mean, we're right on the cutting edge. And so we also have another thing that we have to add to the equation now. It's robots. They're talking it up loud and clear, man. 5-10 years, robots are going to take over every single thing. They're going to do everything better than we can do. And so the question is, what happens to us human beings? Bill Gates, who I have zero respect for, in fact, I would arrest and put in jail for the rest of his life, maybe even worse for his crimes, actual murdering people with his playing with all sorts of things. Anyway, Bill Gates was asked that recently. What about the people through all of this? And he says, well, we'll have to figure that out. He's already on record as saying several times, along with other people, he wants to get rid of 95% of the people living on the planet right now. Now, he's not going to come out and say that as he's doing an interview on television. But the fact of the matter is his previous words, his actions make that absolutely clear. So you have a kryptonite against all of that stuff. It's called your imagination. It's called manifesting. That's the power of tarot. And so what I do in these readings is not just limit it to that. Because very easily then you get into the rainbows and the lollipops and candy and, all kinds of things. Goofy stuff. I work with where we are right now. And in the past 7,000 years, recorded history, I know human history goes back way farther than that, but you got the younger Dryas, you got the Ice Age, you got the older Dryas, you got all kinds of other cataclysms. We know there was major civilizations in the past, but we really don't know very much about them. We do know about the past 7,000 years, more or less. I know we've been lied to and history's been reshaped. We still have kind of a timeline. And in that timeline, we have come to this point. It's a point of decision. Literally, humanity rests on what we think, what we do, how we behave. And so the purpose of this tarot reading is for you to step up to the plate, understand the frequency that we're doing in that reading, and see how it applies to your life. That's essential. You can't go blindly. You have to kind of understand the energies. You may not get the specifics, but you got to understand the energies. It's like I say many times, you go back to 1776, the American Revolution. We had two planets essentially in the place that they're in right now. A little bit past, about a year or so ago, they were closer. But anyway, they're essentially where they were back at the American Revolution, 1776. That's Pluto, Uranus. They're essentially in the same place now. Take a look at what's going on in the United States and the world. Revolution, evolution, people have had enough. But they don't have the leadership, internally or externally, to be able to really kind of grasp with this thing yet. I think it's more a battle of backbone, of integrity. And I think people are starting to grow a backbone, and we're starting to see. And of course, as they're beginning to get awake, the deep state, the power people, the bad people who control everything, been doing it for probably thousands of years, they're getting worried. So they're leaning in harder. They're writing kind of clouds in the sky that have poison. They're changing the economies. They're messing with the politicians and politics. They're demanding that you can't say or think this way. They're really leaning because they see how close the population is to saying enough. So within that context, now we take a tarot reading and we kind of say, okay, in this given situation, here's the energy. How are you going to apply it in your life? I want you to get a full read, not a tiny read, a tiny little focused, oh, lollipops and rainbows, oh. No, much deeper. Because literally, it all depends on you and I as to whether or not we're going to make it. Hopi prophecy, I talked about it last year, is over 2,000 years old, says, man, we get in touch with our spirituality, we get in contact with Mother Earth, we get back in contact with nature, we get back into the frequency of life, or it's all done. No ifs, ands, it's done. And you can tell that's the case. So the meme for today supports our basic idea. That's the center card, the oracle card, here and now. Be focused in the here and now. Do not get distracted. While the internet has a lot of positive things about it, it's got a lot of shit in it too. A lot of lies, a lot of fakes, Well, I love these sites that are showing you all these kinds of things that are supposedly happening in nature, and you've never seen them, never heard about them before. That's AI. They're messing with your head. So that takes me, when we're keeping the idea of here and now, don't get distracted, to the meme. And the meme for today says, don't entertain negative energy. Some situations are going to test your patience. Try to make you overreact, overthink, respond to things that don't deserve your life force. Your attention is your power. Don't feed what doesn't add value to your life. Protect your energy. And that's the key, because there's so many things being thrown at us right now. It is hard. It's hard to decipher what is, what isn't, which is exactly the way that the evil people that run the planet want it to be. If you can't tell what's real or not real, they got you. They got you. And for a lot of people, they got you. So you take the kryptonite from this frequency and apply it to your life in a very positive way. Now, just a moment ago, I was talking about us being able to travel in time, space. And I know it sounds fantastic, but there's information out now that's been verified. It's been going on for several years already. We'll get into that farther down the road. But what that does is say that you got to focus. Because if they can change everything, focusing messes with your manifesting, which manifests with your life. And this story about being able to travel through time and space, right now we have 4 planets, major planets, that are in different signs, changing signs. You got Uranus and Gemini, you got Neptune in Aries, Saturn coming into Aries, Pluto at Aquarius. They're very favorable astrological aspects, very productive. They generally would not be difficult. But what's the fly in the ointment? Neptune in Aries. Neptune is vaporous, it's gaseous, it's fog. You can't grab it, you can't hold it. And so there are a lot of things around us, not the least of which is this story about being able to travel through space and time, that are hard for us to grasp, hard for us to hang on to. Now, it can be a very productive time. Like I said, these planets are all in very favorable relations to one another. So we can make something very positive out of it. But because all of these planets are in a favorable sign or signs, relationships to one another, you can do bad just as easily. So it's up to us, very much like the Hopi predictions from 2,000 years ago said, it's up to us which way it's going to go. You can make it better, we can make it worse. And at this point, I don't think there's much of an option. There's no middle ground. It's either it gets better or it gets worse. That's it. Because we're at that point right now. That's why I'm so focused on you manifesting positively. Focus, focus, focus. Don't get distracted. Be in the here and now. Basically, what that's saying is stand in reality. The number up in the left-hand corner, by the way, the middle card is 32. 3 is lining up the mind, body, spirit. That's the human trinity, lining up the frequencies of the mind, body, spirit. And then at the same time, making a decision about how you're going to change your life. You have to take this opportunity to revolutionize your life. It either is revolution, which is not out of the question. I think people in the world have had enough, and revolution certainly would not be a surprising response. But I'm looking more towards evolution. But that's tougher. That's tougher. Because that's more internal. That's changing ourselves so that the exterior changes. That's why you can't get distracted. Let's go all the way to the left. 8 of Cups. 8s have an element of manifestation to all of them. Sort of the end result. 8 of Cups says, in an emotional way, the stuff that has held you down, the stuff that you're connected to, a memory, a person, an idea, a philosophy, you have been emotionally tied to any of them or all of them. And it's only now you're going, what the hell have I been doing? 8 of Cups says you walk away. You walk away from these emotional connections because you feel unfulfilled. And there's no turning back. I think that's the most difficult for people. You don't mind making a change. Yeah, can I step back? Can I step back? Nope, you can't. And you know that. If I make this decision, ain't no going back. That's what the 8 of Cups is all about, and you have to make a decision. Next card helps us out with that. It's the Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles are our value system. What do we value? We value things. Bigger homes, bigger cars, bigger this, bigger that, bigger that. Life any better? Any more pleasing? You feel more satisfied? You feel more connected? No. And people are coming to that conclusion. That things are not what we should be after. That's why the 8 of Cups, walking away from these things that we're connected to. Because they're not true. And we're trying to see a better future. This, by the way, this card, this Knight of Pentacles, as you're looking at it, is in reverse. So it's something that you're thinking about. You're saying, okay, so I walk away. I get it. I walk away. What do I have to work or walk towards? That's what's stopping everybody. I don't know. Next card over is the 6 of Pentacles. That's reciprocity. You're saying that whatever I walk away from and walk toward I want to make sure it's fair, please. That's one of the things that's really, 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 really missing right now. There's no fairness. I'm not expecting everything to be perfect. Life isn't perfection, which makes it perfect, actually, in a kind of a philosophical way. But my point is this. People know they have to walk away. They know they have to change. But then, of course, there's that big obstacle, the Knight of Pentacles. I'm dreaming. I know what I would like to go to. Six of Pentacles says I want a fair world. Maybe I can't see all the details, but geez, how about fairness, huh? And then finally we have the Seven of Swords. A lot of tarot people go, well, this guy he's at a party or celebration or something. He's stealing something. No, he's not. You get your head out of your ass. That's why I despise so many. Well, despise may be too much, but I dislike so many tarot readers. What this guy is doing is very simple. He's walking away from a bad situation. The two swords together, and you always see this with the Seven of Swords, two swords together. Two is making a decision. He's worked it out. It's logical. I gotta stop it. I gotta get away. And the five swords are the five true things he knows from experience are truth. So he's making the decision to walk away from the bullshit. He's not stealing anything. He's walking away from the lies. Again, you go back to the first card, Eight of Cups. I know I gotta leave. But then you go to the Knight of Pentacles. But I think I know what I want, but I can't see it clearly. There's the Neptune part in the astrology. The Six of Pentacles says, maybe I can't see it, but I can feel it. I want fairness. And when you get to that point, Seven of Swords says, I'm out of here. I got it. May not have everything figured out. Doesn't make any difference. I'm gone. Again, the energy goes back to the Eight of Cups. So the message today is be in the here and now. Don't get distracted. And you do that by having a good, clear set of values. Know what's important to you. Know why it's important to you. And then hold the fort. Don't entertain negative energy. Some situations are going to test your patience. Try to make you overreact, overthink, overrespond. Your attention is your power. Your manifestation is your power. Don't get distracted. So that's the reading for today. Back again tomorrow with another Tao manifested reading. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's very important to keep this engine running here called the internet. Like, subscribe, and share. As I said, back again tomorrow, but maybe you can't get together. That's okay. I'm here every single day. So between now and the next time you and I get together to do this manifested tarot, peace and blessings.